Hey guys, I'm Will Flanagan, a producer here at azcentral.com, and I'm with Ryan Randazzo. He's a reporter, and we're going to have a little discussion today about batteries and home batteries, and what that means for homeowners and sort of what we can expect out of this technology in the future.
Well, I think we're all pretty familiar with solar on rooftops now. There's tens of thousands of people with solar energy, and now we're starting to see homeowners who install large batteries in their home to sort of back up those solar panels. And the idea here is that you're not at home when your solar panels are making a lot of electricity at noon, or many of us are at work anyways.
Sure.
So that power is all getting sent to the grid. Utilities have sort of backed off on the credit they pay you because they've got a glut of power now at noon, especially in the mild months like April, when there's not a lot of air conditioners being used.
Right, and that's kind of one of the downsides of solar generally, right? You're producing more power when you don't need it than when you
exactly. And really more of a problem for the utilities because they have more power than they need at noon, and then they need to ramp up all their power plants late in the afternoon when there is a big power demand, and the solar panels shut down as soon as the sun sets.
Sure.
So the idea is that you would fill the battery with your surplus electricity and then discharge that battery at, say, 5 to 7 p.m. when you're using a lot of air conditioning, probably cooking dinner or doing chores around the house. And then if you're on a time of use rate plan, you're not buying electricity from the utility during those on-peak hours. You're using what would have been surplus electricity earlier in the day from your panels. So it's just a way to store and use that electricity when it's more valuable to you as a ratepayer.
Sure. Now, this is a fairly new technology, right?
This is battery technology really started to take off here a couple years ago when Salt River Project implemented new rates for solar customers. Since then, APS has done something similar, where they're backing off those credits that they paid to customers. So SRP did it first, and then people started looking to batteries to mitigate the new rates that SRP had implemented. There's still not very many batteries out there. There's tens of thousands of people with solar, but APS, which has more than 1 million customers, they only have 135 people with batteries today. However, they have almost 200 people have applied to install batteries in the next few months. So it's a very small crowd right now, but it's growing pretty quick, and that's what we saw with solar, is that there are a few early adopters, and then as the prices came down, that really boomed.
And speaking of prices, what could somebody expect to pay for something like this for their home?
Well, there's a huge range in what you might pay for this, depending on what you want to do. So I'll give you the range, and then I'll explain why it's so big. You might pay from $6,000 for a small system to maybe $20,000 just for the battery on a big system. And here's why there's that big range. It depends if you just want to store a little bit of electricity to offset those on-peak hours and sort of supplement that grid power late in the afternoon, or do you want a battery system where when there's a blackout, you can continue to run all of your lights and refrigerator and pool pump and air conditioner.
You kind of replace what you would have to, like a generator, for example.
Okay. Yeah, so that's why you have this big range in prices.
So who exactly is this for? How long will it take for this technology to pay off, I guess? And what kind of impact could a homeowner expect to have on their home? Like, how large are these things, and where do they fit?
We'll start with the last part. Usually in the garage or somewhere near the electrical panel, but it really depends on the layout of the house. But they're, like the size of maybe a gun case. And again, it depends on how many batteries and how big of a backup system you want. Really, the folks installing it today are the real techie folks who think that they're not intimidated by the thought of charging something up with solar power and running it to sort of take advantage of rate plans, because we do have time of use rate plans where they charge you a lot more for power on peak and a lot less for power off peak. So it's someone who's really not intimidated by being hands-on with their home management. The payback is a little bit tricky when you talk about batteries. So solar panels come with a 20-year warranty usually, and you usually pay off the investment in 7 to 9 years. So you've got 10 years under warranty where you've paid off the panels with your utility savings and you're continuing to save money. Batteries come with a 10-year warranty.
Okay.
And so if you're adding those with solar, and you're only paying off the solar after maybe 9 years, it's a lot more complicated to try and make that investment work for you financially. And I think that's why we see so few people doing it. It's not the clear-cut way to save a lot of money, but there's potential to save money on your utility bill there if you actively participate in how you use electricity at your house. So it's really the early adopter type folks that are putting these in right now.
Cool. Well, thank you, Ryan, for answering some of these questions about home batteries. And if you want some more information, go to azcentral.com.